Jasmine Jasovizzi is here. Don't forget to tap into the Darce podcast.
The Darce choke is a submission executed from the front headlock position. It involves encircling the opponent's neck with the crook of one's arm, while the other arm wraps around the opponent's arm, applying pressure, leading to a tap or unconsciousness.
Tap into the Darce podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are live for another episode of the Darce podcast. I'm here with my guys, Mr. Plus Money, Slick Montana, Cal on the ones and twos. It's your boy Brasco Betts, and we're here for UFC London Town, foggy London Town, back at the O2. Love these cards. And no, we don't have Tom Aspinall, but we do have Leon Rocky Edwards in the main event taking on Sean Brady. Definitely a number one contender fight looking like at welterweight, and some other really good matchups I'm excited to get into it with you guys about. We're looking back at last week real quick. Been on a roll to start 2025. No, the Brasco breakdown didn't hit, but the dog of the week, Sam Hughes, cashed. The Slick report cashed. And plus, you had some hitters, too, I saw on your card. I mean, it's been a really good UFC year so far for the podcast. And I want to get your guys' thoughts on some of these things. First of all, Kevin Vallejos, holy smokes, Mr. Plus. Guy's looking like Elio with that little dip hook. Oh, my. Yeah. What do you think of this kid?
He's good, man. He's good. I'm excited to see him fight again. We didn't get to see him fight enough. But yeah, that was lit. Zaleski was the big letdown for me. Crushed some parlays. Unfortunate. I should have known at that point to at least hedge on the plus money for Chidi. Stupid me. But I won't forget that again. Honestly, I'm guilty here. I was drinking heavy during this card, Slick, so I was blasted to the moon. If I would have somehow figured out how to drunk hedge bet Chidi, that would have been a fucking genius play.
Hey, man, I'm guilty as charged, too, because I thought Easy D would be able to circle on the outside, use his kicks, use his all-around game. Those front kicks, those middle attacks were too much for him. Kicks were crazy fast, so props to Chitty. He looked really good out there. Slick, cashing the Slick report, feeling good again, and holy shit, man, Roman Dolidze putting a beating on Vettori. I had Dolidze. You had the over. They lasted the whole way, as we thought they would, but let me get your reaction to the main event.
Yeah, I mean, it's not really no reaction. Vettori, Dolidze was the only one moving forward, really throwing meaningful punches. Vettori just looked a little washed up, man. Not being in the cage for almost 2 years. He looked slow, looked like the power was not really connecting good. I don't know where Vettori goes from here, honestly.
That's how I feel as well. Yeah, he did drop him in the second round, had me sweating a little bit. I was like, oh, Vettori, a little clean little combination, but that was the only moment, that Georgian toughness. I saw Marab screaming in the corner. I was like, Dolidze's fine. He's going to be fine. All right, guys, into UFC London we go. We usually smack these cards up. Knock, knock. Let's do it once more. And let's begin by saluting to the Slick report.
Philly in the game, and you know we on time. Slick reports coming, ain't never gonna stop. MMA captains with the knowledge and the flow. From the East Coast, getting that paper like a Philly bankroll. Rocking every fight, keep the audience on hold.
Report cash last week, 2 in a row so far. Trying to make it 3 with this one. And with this one, we're going with Morgan Charriere, money line. You get him right now, minus 148 on DraftKings, minus 150-ish around there on FanDuel. And this is just a spot that I have to take Morgan Charriere, coming off a greasy split decision loss to Chepe Mariscal, who is on a roll right now. And Nathaniel Wood, I have been betting on him a lot recently. And for me, he looks too small for this weight class to begin with. And then secondly, I just don't think his power is translating a lot into these fights. Like, he's dropping guys, but he's not really knocking them out. He's like, guys are able to recover. Guys are able to withstand the onslaught. I think this is a spot that Morgan Charriere, who's a little bit more technical, a little bit more, low volume. But the one thing we know about him is that he has mean power, has mean body kicks. And I just think this is a good bounce back spot for him. Getting a good, tough vet in Nathaniel Wood. I say vet because he's just been in the UFC for a long ass time. And I think he's getting him at the right time. He's getting him off that greasy unanimous decision win off Daniel Pineda, who Daniel Pineda had him in a lot of tough spots in that third round. Morgan Charriere, we've seen him time and time again have power in those second and third rounds. He's only lost by decision. And I just think Nathaniel Wood, he's been dropped a lot in his last couple fights. If Nathaniel Wood gets dropped by Morgan Charriere, I just don't know how he's gonna go, because he's a lot of the times when he gets dropped, he goes to his grappling, goes to his wrestling. Morgan Charriere has great defense, great defensive when it comes to the takedowns and wrestling. I just think he's gonna be able to catch Wood. Wood is probably gonna outvolume him because he throws a shit ton of volume. But we've seen time and time again where the judges are looking for the more damaging shots. If Morgan Charriere is a little shelled up on the corner, I can see him just catching Wood with an overhand right, or even some mean ass body kicks. That I love what I see from Morgan Charriere. You know, he's facing a little bit of outcome on the what's the word I'm looking for? Like, the London fans are gonna be for Nathaniel Wood, but don't forget Morgan Charriere is from France. He's not that far. He's from Paris, around there, so he's gonna have some fans there as well. I think this is a great spot for him coming back off that loss. Like I said, against Chepe, he's gonna land the more damaging shots. Give him a 2-1, 29-28 win against Nathaniel Wood.
I like it, man. I love the breakdown, and I like how you see this fight for Morgan Charriere. Like you said, man, Nathaniel Wood been in a lot of plays recently and been sweating him because he seems to find himself in close fights. He can make mistakes late, grappling with the grappler. Like, bro, you're doing your thing on the feet. Why are you engaging, right, with Pineda? And at this point, I agree. I think you're right in saying that he's getting him at the wrong time. Mr. Plus, I feel like you're liking Charriere too. Let me get your thoughts on this matchup for him.
Absolutely. I got my own breakdown. As a matter of fact, he's going to be taking a ride with us, if you know what I mean. But bigger, stronger, more physical. Yeah, Morgan Charriere is going to win this fight. And Nathaniel Wood, don't get me wrong, he's let's not sleep on him. Technical wrestler, grappler, definitely has his moments. But if you look at all his wins, all decisions, look at Charriere's wins, KOs. He puts guys fucking out.
Yeah, and that could be the difference. Even if he doesn't put Wood away, I think he could drop him. I think he could get a takedown. I think he could land the thudding body kick that Slick mentioned that, steals the round, right? Hey, from the corner. So those big moments win the round, and I see that for Charriere. So, yeah, I think he could knock him out or win a decision where Wood, kind of lasts and shows his veteran toughness. See, Don't Tap Podcast in the comments there. Robbie Aguirre in the comments. Fire away, guys. We want to hear your thoughts and your takes, and we'll bring them up on the show. All right, guys. Well, he alluded to it already. We're loving the Slick report. And maybe there's a guy on that report that's going to be on the bus. It's time to hop aboard the Mr. Plus Parlay Bus.
Mr. Plus, Parlay Bus, bet it all in trust. Jabs and hooks, it's all about the rush. Put it down on the underdog, never hush. Odds stack high, feel the thrill, that's a must. And I'll see you when that shit cashes.
It's time to take a trip to the cash counter, and we're getting there. How we getting there? On the Plus Bus, leg number 1. Give me Morgan Charriere. I'm just going in order. He's the first fight we're taking for the bus, and Slick just said it. Great breakdown. Let me give you a little bit more. Again, all his wins by KO. This dude is going to be way more explosive. I think he's going to be the stronger man in the octagon. And like I said, don't sleep on Nathaniel Wood. Definitely a technical guy. Definitely a good wrestler who can control and stay on top when he's there. I don't think he's going to be able to do that to a stronger person, Morgan Charriere, in the ring. And like Slick brought up, bro, I think he's going to catch Wood. Pause. And I think that he's going to catch Wood in Europe with arguably more French fans for Charriere than Nathaniel Wood fans in England. So I think it's going to be just as loud in there, like Slick said, for the Frenchman. Let's go to leg number 2 of the bus so we can get some of the boys' reactions. Leg number 2 on the bus, I'm taking Jordan Vucenic. This dude, you might remember him. He came in last minute from Cage Warriors to fight Guram Kutaladze, who's also on this card. He's the first fight of the night. And, man, he looked pretty good. He had his moments. That was a dog fight. Although he lost a unanimous decision, coming in short notice, putting up a fight like that against a guy like Guram, I mean, he showed his stuff. This guy's a slick jiu-jitsu specialist. He will tap you the fuck out. If he grabs your back, just like Manuel Torres grabbed Chris Duncan's back, he's putting you to sleep via rear naked choke. Chris Duncan, like we all know, loves to block punches with his face. Man, this guy is... he's a brawler, but he's not very calculated. I think his IQ level in the octagon's a little bit low. And don't get me wrong, he definitely has 3 wins. One was a split decision. Could say he lost that fight. His loss, like I said, against Manuel Torres. But Chris Duncan, there's levels to this, and I think this Vucenic kid is the real deal. I like him by sub. Last Last leg of the parlay bus to cash us in. Give me Carlos Ulberg, who's fighting an old Jan Blachowicz. And listen, we don't not like Jan. We love Jan in spirit in the UFC. I'm a fan. Polish power. We like him. We love the story. We like his fights. Bro, this kind of layoff, a year and 7 months. Now you're 42 years old, just got out of shoulder surgery, and you're going to fight a guy who's pretty much on fire. And don't get me wrong, yeah, absolutely had that decision win in the last one against Vulcan, who really reminds me a lot of Jan Blachowicz. This is going to be a very similar style fighter, other than the crazy leg kicks that he could put on you. But I don't think Carlos Ulberg is going to be that guy that lets him do it. Carlos Ulberg is going to take this fight wherever he needs to go. He's got KO victories, submission victories. He can finish you in there. I think that if he lands one on Jan, it could be a problem in night. I'll see you motherfuckers when that shit cashes.
Boom. The Mr. Plus parlay bus. You're getting plus 161 on it. He's going with Morgan Charriere, the Pirate. Love that for him. Jordan Vucenic and Carlos Ulberg in the co-main. So great fights to talk about. We broke down the Charriere fight thoroughly. We all like him very much. And let's talk about Jordan Vucenic. Like Plus brought up, Slick, he looked good against Gunnar, who's no slouch, right? Guram's a good fighter, tough fighter. And he impressed with his grappling. He's got good experience on Cage Warriors, some decent opponents that he's faced, not just some bums. And he's got a diverse array of submissions. So like Plus said, Duncan getting submitted by Torres, having been maybe exposed on the ground a little bit. I don't know if he can fend off that jiu-jitsu. If it gets to the floor, I think Vucenic takes over, and I see how he does. What do you think, Slick?
Yeah, this is just a great spot, I think, for Vucenic. Vucenic has shown, like, that fight that with Gunnar, I believe it was a catchweight. If not, he took it like on 3 days' notice, and he still looked good until the third round, where in the end of the second, where Gunnar basically took over. Now he has a full camp. I have to fade Chris Duncan. Like, the guy was getting pieced up by Oki Bolaji his last fight before Bolaji shot a takedown for who knows what. Like, you're piecing the guy up on the feet and you shoot a takedown. I don't know why. But even if Vucenic shoots a takedown, I think he's the way better grappler. He's the more opportunistic strike. So even if he hurts Chris Duncan on the feet, I can see a club and sub, him hurting Chris Duncan and getting a sub.
Yeah, I think that's the move, because Duncan, like you said, he's tough as all hell. Remember that fight against Charlie Campbell on Contender Series? Campbell was piecing him up, and Duncan just bit down and said, ugh, and just landed a ridiculous right hand that stunned him. So he can walk through the fire, but I don't think Vucenic should put him on the ground, right? Vucenic's not going to fight that fight with him. So I like that leg very much. Shout out Rico in the comments. Shout out D and Jose Martinez as well. Great to see you guys. Next leg for Mr. Plus to close it out here is going to be the co-main event of the evening. Carlos Ulberg, he's got defeating Jan Blachowicz. I will say it is kind of curious to see the odds this wide, like minus 300 against Jan, who his last fight lost a split to Alex Pereira. Really close fight. He kind of bogged him down the way Ankalaev did a bit. Had some submission attempts in there, held him up against the fence, but Alex ended up, having the bigger moments, winning, eking it out there. But like Plus said, he's 42 years old now. He's coming off shoulder surgery, and he's going to be at a huge speed disadvantage, Slick, right? I mean, Ulberg's way faster, way fresher, just a swifter striker. So if he's just light on his feet and bouncing in at a range, I don't know. It could be hard for Jan to kind of bog him down and make this an ugly fight. But he did it to Poatan, so it's possible. What do you think about this fight? I think Ulberg can beat him at this stage, but the odds do feel a bit wide, no?
I mean, honestly, I thought the odds were probably going to be a little bit more wider, because in the simple fact that I just think everything is going against Jan Blachowicz in this spot. Like, he's a type, like you said, against Alex Pereira. Like, he had tons of grappling success in that first round and in that third round against Alex. I don't think he's going to have that same type of success against Ulberg. Ulberg already keeps his hands down low, so he's going to be able to stuff the takedowns. And Jan Blachowicz isn't one of those blast double type of guys. Like, I think those are the type of guys that you have to probably put against the cage and use the cage to get your grappler. Jan Blachowicz isn't that type of grappler. I think Ulberg is going to be more quicker to the underhooks. And on, like, if it's just a straight up kickboxing fight, I have to give it to Ulberg, because Ulberg, I think he's the one that's going to be dictating the space. He has way better kicks, a way better arsenal. And I think Jan has to knock out a guy like Ulberg. Like, we've seen get knocked out in his first UFC fight or his second. And I just don't think that's possible. Like, he looked good against Ankalaev because Ankalaev is a slow, methodical type of guy, you know, and that favors the type of guy like Jan that wants to get the leg kicks going, wants to get the power, the damage accumulated so he could finally take over. And this is only 3 rounds. If this gets to that 3rd round, Jan Blachowicz isn't one of those try to get at you and get you out of there type of guys. You know, like, he was a lot of his KOs are he catches you in the mist. And that's it. You know, it's not like, oh my God, like he just bullies you into a corner and just lets all punches go. I think this is a great spot for Ulberg. If he doesn't get KO'd, I see him winning like a 30-27 decision win.
There you go. So the guys like it for Ulberg. I definitely lean that way, but I don't want to bet on him at this wide of a line. But I think the bus cashes for sure this week and drives in. Ulberg gets one step closer to his title shot. So all aboard. We're cashing a plus 161. That's your Mr. Plus Parlay bust. And I see you guys in the comments. Jameson says, has Ulberg fought anyone with decent takedowns, though? Mr. Plus, do you want to talk about what you think about his grappling defense if Jan tries to get in and make it ugly?
Yeah, I mean, I just think that the 42-year-old Jan isn't going to be able to take down and hold down Carlos Ulberg. So that's just not going to be the strategy. You're going to see more leg kicks coming from Jan and maybe the willingness to stand. And I think that's going to be the biggest problem. So I like Carlos Ulberg, whether it's round 1 or round 2, to really, like Slick was saying, come out of the gate. This guy likes to fucking hit and throw. So, yeah, absolutely. I think I don't know that I'm going to go with the takedown defense there, but I think they're going to keep it standing more than you think.
And best believe if Ulberg is up 2 rounds, that 3rd round, we will see Zalal type running from Ulberg. Ulberg plays the fight smart as hell. Yeah. He is not going to put himself in any type. He might fuck around and start wrestling and shit. We've seen this time and time again, even against Volkan his last fight. Yeah. He will run away. He will make the fight even more boring just because he knows he's up 2 rounds. You know, we've seen it. I don't think he has yet to have a 3rd round KO, you know, so.
Those city kickboxing guys, they know how to fight on the outside defensively. It's a good skill, man. It's a good skill. It comes in handy, right? All right, there's your Mr. Plus Parlay bus. And now it's time to put your hands together, y'all, because we're going to the Brasco Breakdown.
Brasco's Breakdown. Brasco's Breakdown.
And this is a fight that I like a lot on the prelims. I'm rolling with Nathan Fletcher on the money line, now minus 112. Line is slipping. I'm not going to lie. I like this at minus 140 when it opened up, and I'm surprised to see it going the other way. He's fighting Caolan Loughran, and there's an interesting wrinkle to this fight. Fletcher comes from Next Gen MMA Liverpool. That's a Paddy Pimblett's gym, and he's been training with him, looking good. He came up off the Ultimate Fighter. And his opponent, Loughran, is from Team Caolan Liverpool, rival gym. You guys will remember that beef that Paddy Pimblett and that guy Dennis Frimpong had. Those are the rival gyms. And Frimpong was someone that was known to be a bully and kind of just like beating up on lesser experienced fighters, some of which now train with Paddy. So Paddy was like, fuck all that. Let's fight. Let's come spar. He agreed to go to his gym, and they said, we'll spar until someone goes to sleep, either a knockout or a choke. Paddy choked him out easy, and we wouldn't let go. People were up in arms about that, but he said, I'll choke him out. He tapped and he wouldn't let go. They broke it up, and, you know, that's what happened. It got heated. But now these rival gyms are back at it here, and if Paddy's in Fletcher's corner, I feel like he's going to have him fired up to beat up on Caolan Loughran, a guy that he already beat on the regional scene. He beat him when they were amateurs. So I just feel like Fletcher has evolved his MMA game way more since then in 2018 than Loughran has. Loughran is this like wrestler boxer that's a stiff boxer, man. He was getting pieced up by Jake Hadley, who beat him like almost flawless victory in the last fight, stayed safe, was never in danger, and just pieced him up. I think Fletcher can be the one to get on top and make Loughran have to work off his back. Saw Fletcher go through adversity in his last fight against Ziggy Ramaska. Yeah, some people are maybe looking at that as cause for concern, but Fletcher like got reversed and just reversed him right back. He got hit. He got his nose busted by a little elbow from bottom. Didn't even matter. Just kept going. Kid has that toughness and just dog in him. So I feel like his grappling is solid. He does this like overhand right single leg takedown Marab type thing, and it worked really effectively, I think he beats up Loughran. I think the odds are going the wrong way. I even think he could put him away inside the distance. I think he's better than him everywhere. I'm low on Caolan Loughran. And some people were disagreeing with me online when I was chatting with him, but I don't see it. So give me Nathan Fletcher all day, and I'm curious to hear your guys' thoughts and think, is my confidence warranted? Plus, what do you think about this kid, Nathan Fletcher?
I think I'm tailing the Briscoe breakdown plus money this week. Love that shit. And yeah, the Loughran kid, I'm just not a fan. He reminds me of like a great Division I wrestler. And I don't even see his boxing. I guess in one or two of his fights he had to throw hands, but he lost 2 out of 3 of his UFC fights. I'm not a fan of him. I'm not as high. I'm not on the high horse with this kid. I'm gonna fade him. He is a fade for me. There's a couple I'm fading this week, and he's one of them. Give me Fletcher in England at home to beat a guy he already beat. Like you said, if these guys have both grown, I think Fletcher's grown even more. I'm going Fletcher. I think you can put him out of there too, but probably going to be by decision.
Yeah, Kevin Augustine in the chat says, I like Fletcher for a sub or by decision. I definitely agree with that. I think he could beat him up in a number of ways. And we got that rival gym angle too, right? At home with the crowd on his side. Slick, what do you think about Nathan Fletcher? You think we should be high on him?
Yeah, I have to go with Nathan Fletcher in this spot. I've been fading Colin Loughran his whole UFC run, except when he fought Angel Pacheco. Like he's able to beat guys that he's able to wrestle, able to take top control, and he has good ground and pound. But outside of that, whenever you're able to anti-wrestle his wrestling, he just looks like a fish out of water on the feet. So predictable with his strikes. He's basically left hook, right hook, shoots a double leg. Like that's all he really does for all 15 minutes. And we've seen it time and time again. Guys like Lapis, guys like Jake Hadley, able to stuff takedowns. And after that, anybody and their mom looks better than him on the feet. So I'm gonna go with Nathan Fletcher. But I think he gets like a convincing win, because I think the one thing about him, he doesn't really have that knockout power. So maybe if he gets a sub, but I really don't think Loughran has that big of a neck to sub. Like I think he really has no neck. So maybe he gets like an arm triangle or something. But outside of that, I think he gets a dominant decision win.
I can see it. Yo, don't rule out the knockout, man. He's going to take Mount. He took Mount against Ziggy. And I know Ziggy's not like a shark on the ground, but he had him in some weird – he was doing some weird scrambly stuff, the inverted triangles. He was throwing up some interesting stuff. I just like the way – I like betting on fighters that respond to adversity well. Like when I watch tape, I'm not looking for you to have a flawless victory necessarily. I want to see you go through something bad and then come out way better and do it back to the other guy, right? Like it's a fight. You're not going to walk in the rain and not get wet. So I just like what I saw out of Fletcher in that sense. And I think he's ready for like a hard-nosed opponent who's kind of scrappy like Loughran, but just not really skilled, like Slick pointed out. So, yeah, we're fading Loughran like the boys have been doing successfully. I'm on that train. We're going Nathan Fletcher money line. Let's go next-gen MMA. And if Patty's in the corner, I'm tripling my bet right away because he's going to be like, beat this fucking Team Cavan guy. We hate them. All right, guys. I think Nathan Fletcher's got that dog in him. Who else has that dog in them? It's time for our Dogs of the Week. There you go. I'm on mute. Let's start with Mr. Plus. He's got the longest underdog of the card, I believe. Who are you going with?
All right. Listen. I just want to. There's a full disclaimer on this. This is a bet, not a pick. But here we go. I'm taking a shot, half a unit, nothing crazy, on Andre Puliev. Yo, this dude was on Contender Series, and he was a huge underdog then, and he got the W, took my money. I'm backing him up just for a bet. If we got to say a pick, the pick is CLD in England at home, of course. But let's not overlook who CLD's actually beat. He's beat our two friends, the Tululian Can and fucking Dusko Turtarovic, the fucking knucklehead. Both of these guys are literally punching bags and lose. I mean, they don't win, they lose. So I don't know, man. I can't give him that much credit on his wins. His L's from Armin Petrosian and, of course, the RoboCop, but it did go distance, and he stood with him. I don't know, man. I just got to give this guy on Andre Puliev a shot at plus 450 or plus 410, whatever the fuck it is. It's probably going to keep going up as people hammer CLD in their parlays in England at home. Listen, he's the pick, but the bet, boys, we take a fucking shot. We go half unit on Puliev. It could happen. It could definitely happen.
And there's Cal on the ones and twos in the Darce podcast in the comments. He says, if you parlay CLD north of minus 500, it would not be advised. I agree with that. Like, the line is juiced up. Slick, he's a huge favorite coming off the loss that Plus just mentioned to RoboCop, where, yeah, way different level of competition. Damn, RoboCop beat the shit out of him. I was impressed that he lasted to the final bell. He showed some toughness, but, oh my God, he took a beating. So can he deliver it back to Puliev, or can Puliev pull off the plus 410 shot?
This is just a fight that I really have no clue what's going to happen. Like, me personally, I don't have a pick. I don't have a bet. I don't know if this fight going to go the distance. I don't know if it's going to get finished. Like, what I've seen from tape is Puliev, I actually bet him as an underdog in his last fight in the Contender Series. And I just felt as though, like, he was able to dictate the pace in that fight. I just don't know if he's going to be able to do this here. He's really small. I mean, not small, but, like, really slow in the octagon. He's more methodical. And if anything, I think CLD probably gets the Muay Thai popping, gets the elbows going, and probably knocks him out. But I don't know, bro. I really don't have. The pick is CLD, but there's like whoever said it earlier in the chat, like there's minus 500s like Damon Blackshear and guys like that like last week, and then there's minus 500s, minus 550s Christian Leroy Duncan. Like those two different minus 500s at the end of the day. So yeah. I pick Christian Leroy Duncan, but I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen.
Yo, Slick, you got a door open or something like that? You got some crazy like wind atmosphere going on in the back. But dude.
Yo, can I respond to the comment?
Yes, please. Yes.
Amazing comment. It could be just like the AJ Cunningham all over again, which absolutely went horrible. It was never AJ Cunningham night ever. I do want to say 25 of you motherfuckers are watching the show. We appreciate it. We love you guys. Smash the like, hit the subscribe if you're not subscribed. Share it with a friend who loves UFC because we got a little bit more. And I do like I do like another dog that we're going to get to talk about, but he's in his own segment tonight. So I picked the plus 400 because they call me Mr. Plus.
There you go. There you had to go with it. He's taking the shot. We'll see if CLD is worth the tag. Maybe he hits him with like a step-in elbow or something nasty like that. We'll see. We'll see. All right, Slick. Plus, I'm going with my dog of the week here. I like Marcin Tybura at plus 105. And maybe some people are going to be against me here. He's facing the London guy, the Englishman, Mick Parkin, right? Team Aspinall guy. And you're liking that because he's 4-0 in the UFC, and we love Aspinall and everything they do. But I'm not sure he deserves to be the favorite against Tybura. This is very much a gatekeeper fight right here, right? Does Parkin deserve to be a top 10 heavyweight? Can Tybura keep him out and show him that there's some levels? I know it's all gone well for Parkin so far. He's looked pretty measured and kind of well-rounded MMA game. He's defensively sound. He's never really been in danger. He's fought 4 straight-up janitorial service workers. Like, come on, bro. Like, Muhammad Usman is not very good. You know, like Lucas Brzeski is not very good. You know, like it looked good, but like these guys are muy mal. These guys are bad. So Tybura's crafty, man. Say what you will about him. It's not pretty, but he gets it done. He knows how to win fights. He knows how to eke it out. On top, he's hard to deal with. And I think he could put him on his back early. We have no idea how Mick Parkin's defensive wrestling is. We've never seen Mick Parkin's get-up game. I'm going to ask him to answer these questions for me against Tybura, who can make it weird. I know Tybura's coming off a loss to Sergey Spivak. Turns out Sergey Spivak's pretty good. And he took him down right away. We were all on Spivak, I believe. And me, I was like, oh, great. Tybura's going to do it to me, isn't he? Oh, shit. Armbar out of nowhere. Spivak, nasty armbar. But Parkin ain't doing that, I don't think. If he does, then take my money. So I'm going to take Tybura to straight polar bear him, lay on him, stay a little busy in the striking, kind of match him, and I don't know. I think I'm on to it. Prove it to me, Parkin. Plus, what do you think? Is Parkin the side, or do you think Tybura is worth keeping him away from the top 10?
Is Parkin better than Yonata Denise? I don't want to rely on my UFC math here, but is he? I don't know that he is. Brasco just said that beautifully. 4 fucking custodians went to the UFC and got their ass kicked by Mick Parkin because he trains with Tom Aspinall. I don't know. I think almost any heavyweight should beat these four guys. Jamal Pogues, Kyle Machado is not even in the division anymore. He moved down because he was getting beat up by guys like Mick Parkin, right? Muhammad Usman, who's a fucking bowling pin. We hate even watching this guy. And Lucas Brzeski, dude, get the fuck out of here. None of these guys would even be in the UFC if heavyweight wasn't a division. It's just I don't even know how to explain. Like these guys actually fucking suck. Man, I was leaning Mick Parkin, but you gave me a great fucking dude. I gotta lean Tybura now, and I hate when we, do too much and we sell each other on the fights, right? But man, you just said a lot of good info, and Tybura, I just was looking at him. Yo, he beat Denise's ass. I mean, and that was a kickboxer, and Mick Parkin's gonna rely a lot on his stand up, and I just like you said, can he get up? If Tybura wants to hold you down and ground and pound, that's a dangerous man. Top 10 gatekeeper, oof, plus money. I don't know that I'm tailing Parkin anymore. I'll be honest.
There we go. Honestly, look, I don't like to shit on fighters. I respect the shit out of everybody who walks into the cage, amateur level even, because y'all are tougher than me. But all I'm saying is levels. There's different level competition. Slick, last 3 Tybura losses, Spivak, Aspinall, Alexander Volkov. Mick Parkin, he deserves to be a dog against Parkin, you think?
I mean, I'm leaning towards the Parkin side. Like, I understand where you're going, but we also have to look at Tybura wins. Like, he's facing kickboxers that he's able to take advantage of and get the grappling going. Guys like Tuivasa, who's on a 4-fight losing streak. One of his wins is Greg Hardy, Walt Harris, Ben Rothwell. Like, he went to a close-ass fight with Blagoy Ivanov.
He did.
Like, I'm not too high on Tybura, man. And the thing about Parkin is that he's not really a fast-paced type of guy. He's not going to give Tybura the opportunities. Like, I'm telling you, like, Tybura has fought a lot of strikers, and his takedown accuracy is at 38%. Like, everybody that he has fought had put him through adversity in that first round. Tai Tuivasa had him in adversity. Blagoy Ivanov rocked him in the second round. Like, I'm just not too high on him to really dictate the pace in this fight. Maybe if Mick Parkin keeps the fight on the feet, I think Mick Parkin honestly is a way better striker than him, has more combinations, has a little bit more sting to his punches. So I understand his lack of competition, but at the end of the day, at this heavyweight division, whenever you're coming up like Mick Parkin was, you're going to face the bottom of the barrel. And at the end of the day, he has looked good against guys like Brzeski, who has been a little bit close fights with a lot of people. He knocked out, he looked good against fucking Jamal Pogues, who a lot of heavyweights don't even look good against. So I think I'm going to take Mick Parkin to make this fight as boring as it is, like how he always does, and just land a little bit more punches. Tybura probably clinching him to death. And whenever they're apart, I think Mick Parkin can land a couple more punches than anything.
Interesting. I think your breakdown is fair. Like, Parkin probably has the better boxing, but this is an MMA fight, so I'm going to bet on Tybura to kind of mix it up veteran style. But I think you make a lot of good points. Right. And yeah.
Great point. Like now I'm back on Parkin. I don't know what I'm just not betting this fight. I'm gonna be honest. Why you got to bring up my boy Blagoy? Why are you bringing up my boy Blagoy, bro?
Let's not forget that Tybura got KO'd by Shamil Abdurakhimov and guys like Augusto Sakai. Like, it's not like he's – and then his wins are Ben Rothwell, Greg Hardy, Walt Harris, Maxim Grishin, like Jonathan Denise, who's a straight-up kickboxer, Tai Tuivasa, straight-up kickboxer, Blagoy Ivanov, who made a fucking close fight being 60.
Hey, man, I'll say this. MMA math doesn't work like this, but Tai Tuivasa would beat the shit out of Mick Parkin. So I put it like that. Not now? But, or prime Tuivasa.
I mean, but prime Tuivasa was knocking out guys like Greg Hardy and Derek Lewis,
Facts.
Tybura got him on a 5-fight KO streak, like, and then he got subbed. Like, you gotta remember, Tai Tuivasa just got Ezekiel choked by Alexander Volkov the fight before to Tybura, so it's like the guy is, I don't know if he's good anymore. Like, maybe that 1-year wonder.
We shall see.
Bringing up Blagoy was a low blow, man. Low blow.
Slick was about to bring up my boy Hamdi Abdelwahad and say that Pogues beat him, which he did, but that's a bag for Hamdi all day. 15 units on Hamdi that I didn't deserve. Woo! All right, move on quick before the books realize. Next underdog.
Hamdi.
Slick, you got a dog of the week. I think we might end up agreeing on this one. Who do you got?
I'm going with Kevin Holland, money line in this spot. I've been fading this guy for God knows how long. Now it's time to bet on him. Going at 170, it's going to be the faster guy. Gunnar Nelson has good wrestling, but me personally, I just think that if Holland scrambles just one time and gets it on the feet, it's going to deter Gunnar Nelson. Probably just crumbles up maybe like a Mike Chiesa type of guy. If Kevin Holland hits him with anything, then he might fall. Like he's going to fall down. So Kevin Holland money line and hoping he doesn't try to grapple with Gunnar Nelson.
Yo, I like it. You kept it simple too. Like, crack him, Kevin. I think this is a good matchup for Holland. I looked deeper into it because he can be kind of confounding to bet on. Like, it's very hard to get inside the mind of Kevin Holland. What is he going to act like in this fight? This is at welterweight. At 170, I think Holland's worth a bet. He gets kind of ragdolled around by the big middleweights, right? The strong-ass grapplers, the guys that just smoked him, like Hamzat and, Vittori and Brunson, just like held him down. Welterweight, not so much. Like, he could rock with those guys. He's the physical matchup nightmare at welterweight. And Nelson is like not the wrestler type. He's the jiu-jitsu player. Of course, he's good everywhere grappling, but Holland's got underrated BJJ. So I don't see him necessarily getting subbed. And if I don't see him getting subbed, then that's Nelson's win condition, right? Unless he body triangles him to a decision the entire time. But, those karate guys, which is Nelson's style on the feet, too loosey. Remember Basharat? You get too loosey-goosey with that, and you get popped. I feel like Holland's kind of rangy punching power could crack him. So I'm with Slick. I like Kevin Holland, welterweight Holland, baby. What do you think, Plus?
I'm going the same side. Listen, when we're not on the same side, we're not on the same side. When we are on the same side, we are. I'm going Kevin Holland. At 170, this is where he needs to be. This is where he gets his wins. Every win for him at 170 was by finish. This could be another one. Gunnar Nelson's the kind of guy like, bro, where the fuck has this guy been? 2 years. Bro, he's like almost too old to fight. He's a guy that I feel like I've seen lay the gloves down before. Not that he has, but now he's back. So I don't like it. I think his significant strikes are set at like 20.5 on fucking Underdog or one of those. 20 punches for a 3-round fight, bro. Nah, man, that says everything. Give me Kevin Holland, and I think he gets him out of there, honestly.
Yo, we like it, man. Holland by knockout. Jameson in the comments says, Gunnar is so inactive, but I can't trust Holland. That's how I felt at first. And then the more I thought about it, I was like, well, Holland's super active. I know he's coming off a fight where people are saying he gave up, but he broke his rib. And what do you want to do? You want everyone to just die out there? Like, he wants to see tomorrow. So I think maybe he comes back motivated, feeling like people said he gave up and just quit in the last fight against Dolidze. Yo, you break your rib in a cage fight against Roman Dolidze and keep going. All right? Holland's coming back strong here.
He actually lost another one after that against De Ritter, if you remember.
Yes.
But no, look, Holland at 170, bro, is different than Holland at 185. So
another example of a middleweight, really solid grappler that just kind of out-physicaled him, ragdolled him, goes like that. All good. We're going Holland. All right, guys. It's time to go to the top of the card. It's time to talk about the main event of the evening. Leon Rocky Edwards taking on Sean Brady. Plus 140 for Leon. Brady minus 165 right now. And Brady's doing his thing. 17-1. He's going through the division. His lone loss got knocked out by Bilal, actually, which is kind of like no shame in losing to the champion Bilal, but also like Bilal didn't knock out anybody. So he's sort of like a stain. Nonetheless, he's looked amazing against everyone else. Philly guy that Slick has been watching those guys in that camp closely, and they've just been doing their thing. His grappling is sensational. He's really, really good on the ground. But this is a huge step up. And I don't know. He's never faced a fighter quite like Leon. I know people have questions about where Leon's at. Sort of like sometimes doesn't fully show up. And then Bilal just kind of worked him, right? That pressure boxing and the wrestling, it was too much. So Leon had moments, made it close at the end, opening him up. But the fight was over, really. He was just doing as much as he could. And I wonder how he comes into this one. So let me get Mr. Plus's take first. What do you think about Sean Brady? Do you think he gets through Leon Edwards and gets his shot at the welterweight title next?
Man, this is a tough one. This is a really tough one. You remember some of those older fights with Edwards versus Kamaru Usman, and Edwards did a really good job in that second fight of stuffing some takedowns. Can Brady make those takedowns? Someone said that his takedown entries, that's going to play a huge part. We're going to see if he can make them right, time them right, and land them. And then when he's there, do damage on top, or try to submit him, or some ground and pound game. I mean, we got to see if he can hold him there, keep him there. Obviously we know if this stays on the feet, Leon Edwards at home in England, well, that's a problem. I honestly am leaning Sean Brady, though. I do feel like it's his time right now. This is it. The Gilbert Burns win was big. This is it, man. You got to go through Leon Edwards, and then I guess he gets a rematch with Bilal, right? Maybe if Bilal's still champ.
Right, that's what he's eyeing. Bilal's going to take on Jack Della Maddalena. I'll say it right now. I think Bilal's going to beat him.
Yeah,
and
me too.
Then you might have that rematch if he can get through Leon. Slick, what are your thoughts on this main event?
Yeah, I'm gonna lean my guy Sean Brady in this spot, and I just think there's a lot of alarming factors when you really tape on a guy like Leon Edwards. And the one thing that we know about him is, yes, he has good wrestling defense, but whenever you get him down to the ground, he's basically a one burst type of guy. And if you keep him down there from that one burst, he just lays on his back. And we've seen it time and time again, like against Kamaru Usman. And the one thing that I just hate that a lot of the talk about this fight is, if this fight is on the feet, Leon probably KOs Sean Brady or clearly wins a 5-round fight. And I don't see that happening at all. Leon is, like, before that Kamaru Usman fight, didn't knock out nobody from till 2018, and then before that didn't knock out nobody to 2016. I just don't think he has that good enough power to really deter Brady from entering in any type of takedowns. And the one thing that we know about Brady is, me personally, watching tape on this guy, Philly aside, he's probably one of the best cage wrestlers we have seen in the division. And in the sense that once he gets you down there, he just knows how to keep you down there. We've seen Leon have good defensive in some spots against Bilal, but Bilal isn't that control type of guy. He's more relentless wrestling, and whenever he gets you down there, he's just going to take you down again. And then whenever you get up, he just takes you down again. I just don't believe that Sean Brady is going to be able to. Leon Edwards is going to keep this fight on the feet too much. And we've seen Sean Brady fight after each fight. His striking has been improving. Landed almost 200 strikes against Gilbert Burns in a 5-round fight. Went through the basically the Gastelum gatekeeper ish whenever he beat Kevin Gastelum. I just think he's getting Leon Edwards at the perfect time. Leon Edwards, they could say anything what he wants about in that fight against Bilal Muhammad. He was not beating Bilal Muhammad that fight. That fight could have been close to 5-0, 4-1 if anything. He only won the 5th round because he landed a gashing elbow against Bilal Muhammad in the last 15 seconds. I think this is a great spot for Sean Brady if he gets the wrestling going. And even if he doesn't get the wrestling going, I think Leon Edwards' low volume is going to give him more opportunities than not. Leon Edwards is a more back tracer type of guy, likes to counter you. I think Brady combinations that he showed against Gilbert Burns. And let's not forget, Bilal Muhammad got a title shot beating Gilbert Burns. So Sean Brady, we probably after the Bilal fight is a shaft cat fight, but this sets up Brady for any type of fight he wants. Maybe a fight like Kamaru Usman, maybe guys like that, or the loser of the title fight. I think this is a great spot for Sean Brady to get the wrestling going and get it. I wouldn't be surprised if he gets a sub in this spot. A lot of the guys that Leon has fought, nowhere near the type of opportunistic sub artist that Sean Brady is. Has a great guillotine, has a great arm triangle. And if he gets you any type of sub, I don't think Leon Edwards is getting out, because I think Sean Brady puts him to sleep. So give me Sean Brady money line in this spot. And I'm hoping somebody comes in on Leon, because that's just going to make my bet a little bit more bigger on Sean Brady in this spot.
Wow, look at that. A confident breakdown from Slick on Sean Brady. I think the lean towards Brady for Mr. Plus as well. I see you guys in the comments. Jameson says that Leon was using the excuse his last fight, the Bilal fight, was at 5 a.m. So he's not liking that. Jewish Better, I see you in the comments too. Good to see you guys here. Well, I guess I'm going to split the difference, guys. Give me the dog. I'm with Don't Tap Podcast. That's Cal, who's running our show right now. I like Leon, and maybe I'm going to be wrong, and I'm going to make Brady prove it to me here. But I like a lot of the points that you made. It's like that's really the question for me is like, what's Leon's motivation, right? Like he won the title already. He did the thing, and now he's off that. Does he have the hunger to really get back there? I don't know. That's what I question. You wonder what Leon will show up. So if I'm betting him, I really want a Leon to show up. But if he's talking about, I think I beat Bilal, and I beat him 10 times out of 10. All right, you're bugging. Bilal beat him, but he did have that moment where he took his back in the fourth. He was already going to lose the fight because he was down 3 rounds. But, he was able to win a round with control. That impressed me at least. He showed some heart, something there. And I think that his cage wrestling defense is good enough. Slick made a great point that Brady's cage wrestling offense is great. So that's like where the key battle will take place. If Leon can stay on his feet, I agree. It's not going to be some crazy one-sided, like just beating of him because Leon has showed that he can be boxed with. But I don't know if Brady's ever faced like a long frame and rangy kickboxer like him, like a striker as sophisticated as him that can feint and set up and kind of freeze you in your tracks a little bit if he is effective. We'll see if Brady's boxing is on that level. It definitely looks improved, but I'm going to make him prove to me that he can get inside kicking range, that he can take him down. I don't think Leon's never been submitted. I know Brady's a different beast, but again, I'm going to make him prove it to me. So I'm going to take the shot on Leon. I'm going to see if he still has his old tricks in the bag. Maybe can keep kicking range, can make it tough for Brady to enter, and can make him just kind of look a little frozen. A little bit like he did Kamaru. I know Kamaru was coming off those, his knees are pretty shot. Can't even walk on concrete anymore. But he's still freaking Kamaru Usman. And you look at the last guys that Leon's fighting. Colby Covington, shot Covington. But Usman, Bilal, losing to Bilal. But these guys are the elite grapplers, right? Gunnar Nelson, he's beaten. Rafael Dos Anjos, he's beaten. These are all really great grapplers. So I'm asking Brady to prove it to me. But great talk, great back and forth on the main event. Plus and Slick liking Sean Brady to get it done. And I'm liking Leon Edwards. I like Edwards plus 9.5. That means he's got to win 1 round and not get finished. Minus 190. I was thinking I was going to make that a parlay piece. But you really think he gets subbed, Slick? He's never been subbed.
I mean, who has he fought that's really an opportunistic sub guy other than maybe Gunnar Nelson?
Gunnar, yeah.
But other than that, if Sean Brady is in half guard, at any moment he could sub Leon Edwards. And I mean, I'm saying not the type of sub that like Leon can't get out of the sub, but if Sean Brady latches anything, his strength and the way he just puts people to sleep with those subs is just second level to none. Like the way I seen him put somebody to sleep with that guillotine, Christian Oliveira, in less than 2 seconds, that just goes to show you the strength and stuff that he has. Leon has never fought somebody with this type of strength. Never has fought somebody. Outside Bilal, but Bilal can't sub my neighborhood cat. So that it's like who else has he really fought? Gunnar Nelson, who if he can't get the fight down to the ground, he's a fish out of water. Sean Brady isn't that, Brady. A lot of people look into the Brady got KO'd by Bilal, but Brady in that sense was a grappler first. Of course, he could get KO'd by the grappler. They're trying to dictate. Leon Edwards made Bilal Muhammad look like Canelo. He said, "I'm gonna make myself look like Canelo against Leon," and Bilal Muhammad looked like Canelo against Leon. Bro, he was throwing the combination, left hook, boop, boop. Everybody say about Sean Brady, but that was a standing TKO, and the refs early stopped it. Abu Dhabi, everybody wanted Bilal Muhammad to win. Leon Edwards was in his hometown and got outboxed by Bilal.
No, bro, all fair. I will say though,
I was replying to that comment you put up. I was replying to that comment you put up that said Brady by Kate.
Word. Yo, I will say Bilal's boxing is good now, man. It's good. It's good. It got way better, man. Those hands are sharp all of a sudden. Yo, all right. Great main event talk. We shall see what happens next. Mr. Plus, you nominated this one for being a straight violent affair, and I absolutely love it. So we got to hear you break down the banger of the night. Let's go.
All right, listen, I do think that Loughran Kavanagh is a dog. And don't get me wrong, I'm not putting it past him. I'm not sleeping on him whatsoever. But when you're good, when you're going to decision with Jose Ochoa, a guy like Felipe Dos Santos might beat you the fuck up. Listen, this guy, and don't get me wrong, Felipe Dos Santos, yeah, the Victor Altamirano split. Some would say he lost that one. Listen, that was a great fight. And Victor Altamirano's not nobody. I like how he fights. He's got that weird karate style stand up. He's got real good fight IQ. But yeah, man, I got to go with Felipe Dos Santos. Give me the plus money. Give me the Lipe Datona, whatever the fuck his nickname is. Yo, the Andre Lima, even going to decision with him. And remember, he had some moments in that fight too. Man, that's big now. Andre Lima is looking like a real proper prospect. I'm just not really behind the Loughran Kavanagh. I don't know how he's from China. I don't see any Asian in him, on him. I don't understand it. He got the great left hook knockout on that Contender Series, but the decision win didn't impress me. And I'm really taking the plus money shot here at plus 240. This was going to be my dog of the week, but I saved it because this fight is going to be a banger. These are two guys that are definitely going to want to throw down and get bloody and go tit for tat and, take one to give one. And both of these guys will walk through fire. If you've watched any of Felipe Dos Santos' fights, he's been fucking exciting, to say the least, in his 3 fights. And he took a fucking fight, was it on short notice, against Manel Kopp? That was his first fight into the UFC. I mean, and he didn't get finished. There's levels. Felipe Dos Santos plus money. I think the line's way off.
Wow, going with Dos Santos, the dog pick, and absolutely the right pick for banger of the night, because this should be a barn burner, Slick. I mean, Loughran Kavanagh, Felipe Dos Santos, these guys are going to meet in the middle. Like he mentioned, in his short notice debut against Kopp, he had a lot of moments, man. He had Kopp in danger a couple times, and then Kopp was piecing him up, but he showed great toughness too. He lasted in a great back and forth affair. Disappointed in that Altamirano fight, but oh my God, got saved by the judges there. Guess the UFC wants him to grow a little bit. So maybe there's something to be said about that. He's got a lot of skill, just needs to develop more. But plus, there's no way I can go against my sweet prince, Loughran Kavanagh, future champion. I love this guy, bro. He's only 8-0, so I'm being a little ridiculous. But I love this kid, man. Just athleticism and explosiveness and the smoothness to his kickboxing technique. Yeah, he needs a lot more experience, but I think the kid's got all the potential in the world. Sky's the limit for Loughran. It should be a really fun fight, but I think he's got the chin too. And his counter striking is crazy. Slick. I don't know if he can knock Dos Santos out because Dos Santos has a chin, but Loughran throws heat on the way back after you miss. What do you think about Loughran versus Dos Santos?
Yeah, I'm gonna take the dog shot in this spot with Felipe Dos Santos. I just think he has a great all around game. Attack subs whenever he's on his back. And we just haven't really seen, like you said, Loughran Kavanagh. He faced Jose Ochoa his last fight, but Ochoa, he's not really he's good, but he's not really he's a dangerous type of guy. I think Felipe has a good jab. He really dictate. I think he can dictate space in this spot, and I think Loughran Kavanagh just hasn't really faced adversity. He fought like I said, he had a little bit of adversity against Jose Ochoa. But Felipe Dos Santos, man, he's just going to put you in a spot somewhere. In every moment of the fight, you're just in danger, in some type of danger. He puts good pressure. And the one concern about him is his striking defense. But we just never seen him wobbled or anything. Manel Kopp landed some clean flush punches on him. Victor Altamirano was snapping his head back with a jab, and he just did not get phased at all. This guy just keeps on coming. If we see Loughran Kavanagh get a little bit tired of the pressure and of the pressure of Felipe Dos Santos, we could see Felipe Dos Santos snag a 29-28 win, So neither of these guys are going to be favored in London, So Dos Santos at this price, I have to take him, man. We seen Loughran Kavanagh against Jose Ochoa -4 something, and he won a 29-28 win. But when you -450, we want him to look like how he did in the Ultimate Fighter. I mean, not the Ultimate Fighter, the Contender Series where he knocked out a guy like Antoine Ho. So I think this is a good spot for Dos Santos. He's just been getting the rum of the rum in his last couple fights. So give me Felipe Dos Santos for half a unit.
In terms of a bet, I think you guys are probably making a smart play, and so does Cal on the 1s and 2s in the comments. Because you're betting on a dog that's a pressure fighter that has a great chin. You're going to be in the fight for 3 rounds against the guy that's 8-0. That I'm super high on, but he's still pretty unproven. Like you said, he won a close fight against lesser competition already. So they might be onto it. They might very well be onto it. I would play Lohner decision if you like Lohner to get some more value, or play the dog. Lohner decision or the dog is the move in that fight. I think you guys bring up some great points for Dos Santos. Banger of the night there. It should be a fun one. All right, guys. It's time to come together on play. It's time to lace them up for the Dars parlay. All right, guys, 3 legs to bind them, plus 135 for us this week. I'm going first because it's the first fight of the night. I'm going with Guram Kukataladze. A little bit wide of a line, but I think he's the clear side here against Kawe Fernandez, who just, he's kind of an unrefined fighter. Like, his talent is kind of raw, right? I just feel like he's not going to really have the game or the skill to go with Guram, who's so scrambly, who's so high-paced, kickbox, throwing combinations, mixing his grappling, really take the fight wherever. And Guram, came on the scene beating Mateus Gamrot, that split decision, maybe a little bit of a robbery, maybe. See how you want to see it, but hasn't quite lived up to that performance since then, but does have that talent. So I think here the levels will be on display. Give me Guram all day in this matchup. Slick, you'll go next, but first, give me your take on the Guram fight.
Yeah, we're going with Jordan Vucenic in this spot. I already had to say what I had to say about him earlier. I think he gets a first-round sub, second-round sub. And I'm going to be looking at BetMGM to be betting a guy like him by guillotine.
Ooh, exact submission method, which is the slick call. You can bet for some sick odds there. You like a Vucenic Gilly. All right. Plus, what do you think about Guram? We know you like Vucenic, and then give me your leg to close it out.
Yeah, and I kind of like the rear naked there, Slick. I'm going your way with that fight, Brasco. Guram Kutaladze going to put on a clinic here, but it's probably going to be a decision. So hopefully Fernandez doesn't take a round and we got ourselves a split. But give me Guram Kutaladze, just a really wide line. So probably staying off unless I'm taking him by decision or putting him in a parlay or something. For my pick, we're not going with a pick, guys. We're going with a fade, and we are fading Molly the Meatball. She's exactly that, a meatball, and she can't fight and has no fucking defense when it comes to striking, and she's absolutely gonna get outstriked in this one. If you guys don't remember, go back and watch the fight from the Contender Series. This Alexia Thanara girl is for real, and she's gonna be stronger in there as well. So I think out of the 2 girls, she'll be stronger. She's a little bit bigger. She's got a longer reach. She's the younger fighter, and she's going to be a better grappler if they get into it. Give me Alexa Thanara. Enough said all day. We are just fading the meatball.
It's a meatball fade.
As we should.
Dude, I didn't want to do it at first because I didn't want to bet on Alexa Thanara at chalk, but I started thinking about it. I'm like, oh my God, she might submit Meatball. She's got a few arm bars on the resume. Meatball armbar defense is negative. It's not, it's negative. So
doesn't exist.
Very concerning there. Yeah, I think she could get submitted if they grapple. All right, guys, that's the Dars parlay. Only a few plus 135. You get Guram, Vucenic, and Tynara. I put them together, guys. Shout out to everyone that's in the chat still sticking around. Make sure you hit that like button. Hope you're firing away in the comments too with any questions you may have about the fights. We really appreciate you guys. We got to get out of here in the next 10 minutes for the producer who has a life to live. Let's go through 2 more fights on the ones we didn't talk about and honorable mentions. All right, fight that I didn't want to talk about, so we'll breeze through it because the next one's a good one that we'll close on. Sean O'Bannon versus Puja Tumar. Oh, man, Slick's brow has lowered, and I know what time it is. Cal, get the advertisement ready. Slick, what are your thoughts on this amazing fight?
If there was a Henny break for the card, this card is pretty early, so probably get the Henny out there like 2 o'clock because, my God, this fight is going to be trash. But I'm going to lean the dog in this spot. What I've seen from Puja, she's a good, gritty girl, throws good body kicks, has good striking. Not good striking, but more volume than anything. And Sean O'Bannon, for me, she barely be an OnlyFans girl her last fight. The girl came in on short notice as well, and she barely beat her. I don't think Sean O'Bannon, I think like her house could be covered in flies, and she won't kill none of the flies because she just doesn't have no type of power. So I'm gonna go with Puja Tomar. Outvolume her.
Not because she wouldn't hurt a fly, but because she doesn't have any power.
Her house could be that's an amazing visual. I'm just picturing her in a house covered in flies, and she's just throwing combinations, and she just can't hurt any of them. That's so funny. Wow. Oh my God. Yeah, what he said. What do you think, Mr. Plus?
Dog or pass, and I'm gonna go ahead and pass. That's it.
Elite stuff from
Fuck
the boys.
that fight.
Elite stuff from the boys. The next fight.
That shouldn't even have been an honorable mention. It should just been a straight mention.
Dishonorable discharge.
Dishonorable.
Yeah. No, yeah. Do not pass go. Last fight, and this is a good one. I actually really like this fight. I'm interested to get your guys' takes. It's Jai Herbert taking on Chris Padilla, the Black Country Banger versus Taco. Two nicknames I really like. Love the nicknames in the game. Herbert, pick him, -110 against Padilla. Padilla coming off that elbow that he landed on Rongju, swelled the eye like a freaking egg, and the doctor had to say no mas. So he's coming off an interesting win. And Herbert is a super skilled kickboxer, but has had mixed results in the UFC. He's fought some serious competition. He got knocked, Ilya Taporia, a guy that he almost knocked out. Ilya said it's the hardest he's ever been hit. Kyle Nelson, Ludovic Klein, some pretty hard-nosed guys. Renato Moicano choked him out. And Padilla looks like an interesting, unorthodox guy. So I like the style of this one. I'm really interested in this fight. Mr. Plus, do you have a pick in it?
I mean, I just want to watch more. I want to study a little bit more for this one. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna be fading Jai Herbert most likely. I like this Chris Padilla kid, man. He's on fire. I like the nickname Taco way better than the Backcountry Banger. Taco is lit, bro. And let me say something about Taco. He's got a 7-year age gap here. He's the younger fighter. We see all the time the younger fighters usually get the job done. They hit it like a 76% clip. I think this is one of those instances where you're seeing Jai Herbert kind of finish up his career and someone like Chris Padilla kind of just get his going. So yeah, when you're coming off those 2 wins, you're active. This will be his 3rd fight in less than a year for Chris Padilla. I'm taking it again. I think he could honestly take him down and take the back and choke him out.
Yeah, no, he may use a grappling advantage there. That's where Herbert has shown some weaknesses for sure. And Herbert maybe in the later rounds too can fade a bit and get beaten up a little bit. I wonder how Padilla looks if this fight goes deep and maybe he can expose him there. By the way, Slick, before you give your take and I give my take on this fight, Don't Tap Podcast in the comments. That's Cal. He's got his own podcast. He's going live at 10 p.m. He's got tons of plays on this card. Stay tuned. Go follow his channel and keep the MMA content rolling. Get all your research in for this week's London card with the Don't Tap Podcast right after the Darce. All right, guys? So more coming your way. Be sure to tap in with my guy Cal as well. Slick, Herbert, Padilla, you got a pick?
Yeah, I'm going to go with no distance in this spot, and I'm going to go with the Taco Padilla spot. I Justin Herbert, he's not really a decision win type of guy. I think only but 2 of his wins come by via finish. I don't think he's gonna be able to finish a guy like Padilla. And Padilla has the wrestling to fall back. We've seen it time and time, like his last 2 fights, go to the wrestling. Other than Rongzu, he didn't really try to get the fight down to the ground. But against Lontop, landed a nice double leg, got the fight down to the ground. And a lot of people say about Justin Herbert's age. Let's not forget, two fights ago before he got out wrestled by Fares Zion, we were concerned about his chin. Everybody was talking about his chin getting cracked. 3 of his 5 losses come by KO. 4 of his 5 losses come by finish. So I think this is a good spot for the no distance. I think that's the only way Padilla could probably win this fight. If this is a decision win, Jai Herbert probably outpoints him. But I think there's a world where Padilla could win a damage-based type of fight. Type of decision. So I'm going to go with Padilla in this spot. I think he could finish a guy like Jai Herbert. And I think he gets the wrestling going. I think he submits him as well.
You know what? If there's a finish in this fight, I totally agree. It's on the Padilla side. But I actually like Herbert in this spot. I think that maybe I'm overthinking it, but maybe the knockout on Rongju, the finish, maybe is inflating the line and the perception on Padilla. Because before that moment, Rongju was beating him. And I know Rongju looked damn good against Cody Steele. So we're now, he was a massive underdog in that fight. So the market was down on Rongju right before that. Now he's already, all of a sudden, he's sick, and that's a great win. Perhaps, yeah. But I just think Herbert's a more sophisticated striker than Rongju. If he's able to keep it at range, if he's able to stay safe, which are a couple big ifs, because, yeah, we are worried about the chin. We are worried maybe about the grappling defense. I think he can outpoint him. If it goes distance and he can stay safe, I think he's the sharper kickboxer. He comes out there, rolls into rhythm. Herbert's tough to deal with at range. So we'll see how it goes later on in the fight, but I think Herbert can win this one. We'll see how it goes. All right, guys. We got a great podcast here. Great back and forth all around. We like a lot of the same ones. We're split on some of them, so you got takes all across the board. And appreciate every single one of you guys. Remember, the Don't Tap podcast going live after this one, 10 p.m. Keep your MMA content rolling. And thank you, everyone, for watching. Mr. Plus, Slick Montani, Cal on the ones and twos. Your boy, Danny Brasco, here with you every week, giving MMA takes and breakdowns. And we'll see you for the next one, guys. Cash some money and get back on the channel next week. London Town.
Jasmine Jasnovici is here. Don't forget to tap into the Darce podcast.
The Darce choke is a submission executed from the front headlock position. It involves encircling the opponent's neck with the crook of one's arm, while the other arm wraps around the opponent's arm, applying pressure, leading to a tap or unconsciousness.
Tap into the Darce podcast.